Hey, it's Greg from Mighty Studios. Welcome on into another Making Stuff video. This is part 4 of trying to bring this Commodore 64
back from the dead.
And we are nearly there. Oh man, it's been such a journey. Part 1, we got video working. Part 2, we fixed audio. Part 3, we gave the case a dunk. And in this video, we are working on some tricky little keyboard keys. You'll find links to all the previous videos down below, and if you've enjoyed anything so far, please click the like and subscribe button. It helps me grow this channel, and make sure you won't miss any of the future videos we've got coming up on the next round of projects. And we've got some really fun stuff coming up that you don't want to miss. But for now, let's get back to this Commodore.
Yes, master.
The keyboard has 2 bad keys on it. The shift lock key, which is supposed to lock in the downward position, isn't locking at all. And the number 1 key isn't producing a character on screen. So those are the 2 things we gotta hit. First up, with the number 1 key, it's pretty obvious right away that something's wrong, other than, it doesn't produce a character on screen. But just clicking it compared to the keys around it, it feels really different. It feels like there's something stuck inside there. Now you can pull the keycap off, and that doesn't really show you a whole bunch. And the keyboard itself is sealed up pretty tight on all sides. So we're gonna have to take off all these little screws and have a look inside to see what's going on with that key. The shift lock key is a unique little mechanism on this keyboard, and it's wired up separately, so we're going to have to clip these wires and then we can finally remove the back cover and see what's going on. Once inside the keyboard, it was pretty obvious what was wrong with that number 1 key. Each of the keyboard keys on this particular model have a little flexible cup underneath it that serves as both the spring mechanism for the key and the contact. There's a little black conductive contact pad in the center of each of these cups, and when that presses against the circuit board, it closes a connection and makes the keyboard key trigger. For our number 1 key, the cup is all misshapen and the contact pad wasn't reaching the circuit board to close that connection, which is why we weren't getting a character produced. My guess is, 30 years of storage, this thing getting knocked around, and then maybe some weight resting on the keyboard eventually drove that cup out of its original shape, and we're going to have to try to get it to come back. And we're going to do that with one of my favorite problem solvers, the reckless use of heat. Here is my clever plan. I've taken that misshapen keycap and I found the right size socket from a socket wrench set where the cap stretches over the socket. And the plan is to hit it with this heat gun that's in the back and see if we can get that new shape to stay. Yeah, crazy plan, but once again, we are solving problems with fire. What could possibly go wrong? After giving it a good long time to cool, I popped it back in the keyboard, and holy crap, it worked. So we're going to call that one solved and move on to the shift lock key. The shift lock key is a self-contained little mechanism in the keyboard, so we just pop it out of place to get started. So this mechanical switch is supposed to be something you can press in, and then it'll hold its position, and then you press it again to pop it back out. But as we can see, this one's just not doing anything, so we're going to have to get inside it to see what's wrong. Then we can pry the back cover off and get to all the little parts inside. Oh crap, that's a lot of parts. Okay, I'm going to try to explain how this thing works, because unfortunately, these old Cherry MX latching keys are not manufactured anymore, so if yours breaks, you either have to fix it or get one from another Commodore 64. I'm going to do my best to explain how this thing works. Apologies for the shaky cam here. These things are really tiny. So the center part of the switch is the plunger that you're pressing down on with the keycap, and it's got this little swing arm that goes back and forth, and that swing arm is supposed to have a little tooth on it. The tooth rides on this little nylon track inside the switch. When you press down, the tooth is moved around the back of this backstop, and then a spring pushes it back up to hold it in the latched position. Then when you press a second time, it continues around the back of the backstop and is freed to push all the way up to the regular position. Looking closely at the swing arm of this piston, we can see that there's no tooth whatsoever. It's completely worn away. So we're going to have to fabricate a new one. And for that, I've got a clever plan. Step 1. Drill a tiny hole where the tooth needs to be. 2. Find a stiff wire to feed through the hole, forming the new tooth. 3. Glue the wire in place with a super glue gel. 4. Also use that gel to coat the tooth in a rounded plastic shell. 5. Snip off the excess wire, and the new tooth is now complete. Then we put it all back together, and holy crap, it worked. I still can't believe this worked. All right, now we got to get it back inside the C64 and see if the keyboard is working. Yep, we start by hitting a few keys on the keyboard, then we press the shift lock and make sure that the alternate characters are working on those same keys, and back again, and everything works. I can't believe something finally went my way. We now have a fully functional Commodore 64. I'm so happy. Thank you for being a part of this journey. We're going to take one more video, I think in a week or so, and look at a printer that goes with this Commodore 64. But for the most part, this project is done. If you enjoyed any part of this series, please click that like and subscribe button. Help me grow this channel so I can do more silly videos for you. And I will see you next time on Making Stuff with Mighty Studios.